Okay, cool. So this is a Recreation Commission meeting on Monday, October 17th, 2022 at 6:06 p.m. Okay, first order of business is approval of minutes from September 27th, 2022. I was not here, but I read through the minutes and I watched the meeting. So
how'd we look?
How'd we do?
How'd we sound?
You know what? It was better than any other meeting we've had in the past. It was efficient. It only lasted like 40 minutes, which was
Thank
unbelievable. Yeah, you're welcome. So, do I have a motion to approve the meetings for the minutes from September 27th?
Motion to approve.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. All of us. Fantastic. Oh, we should probably do, in attendance of this meeting is Frank Malisi, Melissa Scartesi, Sheila Morris, and then Caroline Mills, and then also Maddie Story and Jen, I don't know your last name. Harriet, thank you. Great. So the next one is approval of the PTO polar plunge for Sunday, March 5th with the rain date of the 12th. Does anybody have any questions about this? I mean, they've been doing it for the past
Couple of
years, yeah. And we're gonna have like the beach like figured out. Well, not figured out, but we're gonna have them like fix the divot in there and stuff like that. So
We are, okay, yeah. I was gonna say it's just a safety thing. I don't want people falling.
Yeah, I mean, if we're we're gonna have that. Yeah, we're gonna have that squared away.
And then the fire department's always here. They always dig out the ice and all that. So.
Yeah. They use it as like a training exercise to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. Sure. I think last year, I don't know if it was the first year they started or.
It was the second.
No, I don't mean the polo plunge in general. They had like a little after party. They ended up having to go down. Was it the AA?
Yeah.
Are they allowed to come here?
They are. Yeah, they are. I mean, I'm not sure why they didn't. We can ask them.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious that they would have.
It'd be good to follow up with,
Yeah.
if there was nothing going on already.
Yeah, it'd be one of those. Yeah, I maybe last year we had an event.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? We did have an event. We had a baby shower.
Oh,
That's why I
okay.
didn't do
Okay.
it. Yeah, but I can reach out to the PTO and see if they want to have their after party here if they haven't already booked the AA. The 5th or the 12th. The 12th is the rain date.
January?
February. Hi, Margaret.
Hi.
Oh, you can come in.
Come in.
Yeah,
small group.
I can go see.
It's a lot warmer in
There's
here.
nothing on it, so
Okay.
it's open.
Okay, can you have access to put the polar plunge in there for the 5th?
I can put it on my calendar. I can't put it on their calendar.
Okay.
They can see my calendar, but I could.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I can ask them. My wife is part of the PTO, so I can.
just curious. I mean, it's not a big deal, but
I
it'd
mean,
be nice to have a follow up afterwards.
Yeah, and they're technically, I believe, not a town department, but they're a town like entity, so they can use it for free as long as they get approval for it. So they
PTO?
The PTO, yeah. I mean, if they just wanted a bar service, they'd have to get like the bar service up here to do stuff. But I'm sure they wouldn't have an issue with it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Catered by
Maybe,
Meadowbrook.
yeah. Oh, okay. They did have it catered,
Yeah.
so I mean, that
I don't
would
think
fall
they'll
under that.
Was it Meadowbrook?
No, it wasn't at Meadowbrook, but Meadowbrook
Oh, they-
Food was
okay,
there.
yeah,
She
so they-
donated it, and then the bar was open. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's right. I'll follow up with them anyway to see if if they haven't done that yet. We can go there. So, awesome. CPC meeting follow up. Okay, so we submitted some CPC applications for some funding. Caroline actually filled out the applications that were there. I have a copy of them from the meeting. They're kind of extensive and they're very hard to read because the forms are not very. What's the word for it, Caroline?
The format is funky.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Very funky.
It's very weird. So I'll just kind of go through each of them, and if anybody has questions about what they're for, what the total is, then you can just let me know. And I can also forward these forms off to everybody. So we have a stormwater. Yep.
Are we going to vote to approve that?
Oh yeah, that's a good.
You're trying to beat our record, aren't you?
You wouldn't even think that I chair two different committees in this town. So, do I have a motion to approve the polar plunge for Sunday, February 5th, with a rain date of the 12th?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Melissa. Okay. Second by Sheila. All those in favor? Aye. Awesome. Great. So that's unanimous. Now we can go to the CPC follow-up. Thank you. Maddie's laughing at me the whole time too. So that's fun. Okay, so there was 4 different applications that we put in for CPC. One of these particularly we might not need because the Board of Selectmen said that they would put a $50,000 ARPA and American Rescue Act funding source for stormwater management at the Cove. So if that passes a town meeting in November, we may not need to do CPC funding for the stormwater management study. So the first one I'll just go through real fast is the stormwater management study. It's for the request of $18,000. And this is the same study that Conservation sent over to us back in March. And we need to get the stormwater management down there figured out before we can do any landscaping or design or anything like that.
To stop the water.
To stop the
runoff.
water, yeah. So the work that Conservation did with Highway and everybody temporarily down there did a great job the last couple of storms. We didn't really get a lot of washout over there. This would be for more of a formal. This is exactly what you have to do for the stormwater management and kind of fix it permanently on a permanent basis, which would make the beach obviously a lot nicer. So if anybody wants to look at that, I have that here. That's for $18,000. The second one would be the stormwater management system for the Cove. I put in a request of this for $40,000. Just to give us some leg room on that. This would be to implement the stuff that the stormwater study came in with. We have to get approval from Conservation and the Planning Board to do that. So, and both of those are eligible for the American Rescue Act and then the ARPA funds that we would potentially get in November. So we would have roughly $32,000 left over to spend on stormwater management. If that gets approved at town meeting, so
That's great.
yeah, it was good. Very very surprised that they let me convince them to do that. So the other one is the landscaping design and renovation, and Ed Sheehan gave us a quote. He's a landscaper that did the front over there. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. It looks nice.
He donated that granite post that was out there that we just got engraved. He gave us a quote that for $19,000 to redo the entire cove and all of it in its entirety, and that's including doing a playground box in the back and stuff like that. He did a very reasonable. I was honestly expecting it to be probably 3 times the price.
So what is that? Is that what is his plan?
So I can go through the materials. So the plan would be, from what we spoke about when I was down there with them and just kind of brainstorming with them, it would essentially be from where the bathhouse is, kind of back, would be trees, loam, stuff like that, kind of bringing it a little bit up more towards the beach and making a good barrier there. Also making a ditch that would bring the water from the back of the bathhouse into the stream on the side that goes back into the pond. Yeah, Jen?
In regards to, you just mentioned the playground being put on the beach.
Yep.
This morning I got a text message from Dory asking me that I'm here tomorrow morning to clean the south end.
Yep.
She asked me if I would meet with a gentleman named Tim Pesco, and the only thing he needs to know is where we want the playground equipment.
Yep.
And then she said if you're facing the bathhouse with the water to your back, it would be to the right of the bathhouse.
Yeah.
Which I'm
So
assuming is like under where those trees are.
Yep,
like
so
that shady area.
we'll get to that in the next one because I actually have the playground in here, so I'll discuss that for you. Because I thought Charlie Baker was supposed to come down here and do it too, but if you're here too, then that's great.
I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome. So so the landscaping was $19,500 that he came up with. I put in a CPC funds request for $35,000 just to have a little bit of leg room there. The way that CPC funds work is if they give us $35,000 and we only use 20, they just take the other 15 back, and they have money to spend. So there's the landscaping portion of it. He didn't really give us a picture design of it. We can ask him to draw it up kind of like how he did the front before, but
Sorry, so you got to the playground, and then the rest of the beach would be what? Like grass, or would
so it would be you'd still have sand there. You'd still have sand, and I would say probably 30 or 40 feet up. It's more towards the bathhouses where you'd have the loom and the grass and the maybe picnic tables and trees and stuff like that. We would cover that that sump.
Yeah.
Not sump. I'm sorry. The septic.
Yeah.
And then we would kind of bring it back to the form that it was before, in more of a, not the form that it was before, but we'll get trees there and stuff like that. We can have him draw it up before he comes off and does it. We just needed a quote for the CPC. Yeah. So we can actually get the process started. So.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
From previous knowledge, that tank we were told years ago that it could not be covered.
Yeah, I don't think we would cover that.
Well, not like cover with dirt and stuff like that. It's going to be covered. Essentially, what I would like to see done is essentially a box go over it, and make it flat. So like we could put something on it, whether it's like
Themselves every time,
what's that?
so people don't trip on it.
Exactly, and they actually know that it's there, and
That it's
maybe we
there.
can put like, I know it sounds kind of bad now, but maybe like a picnic table on top of it. But it's not like a, I don't know.
It just has to be, the stuff has to be easily removed so that.
Right,
you
right.
come and take it out.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
like the big issue.
Yeah, it definitely can't be covered, but it can be like covered
something.
temporarily, then the cover can be removed when we get it pumped and then put it back on and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, CPC we needed to start as soon as possible in order for it to get to Maytown meeting. Once Maytown meeting approves the funding, if we get that far with it, then we can actually start the work in September of next year when, is the landscaping season for it. So we can kind of go from there. So we have that. And then we have the Cove Playground. So the Cove Playground would be in the back of the bathhouse. I think I have pictures here, actually. Yeah, so I'll show you guys this right here. So everybody's been down to the Cove, obviously, but if the bathhouse is over this way, this is the back portion of it near on the parking lot side. And that's kind of where we would want to set up a playground if we wanted to get one there. I know that it used to be a volleyball court, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, I think Teresa brought that up to me at the CPC meeting when she was there. She's like, the volleyball court.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if that's something
And again, I'm assuming that like when we try to clear all that stuff out or just even prune it or whatever, conservation was I'm assuming this has all been okay by the conservation.
So the plans have to be in place, but we actually don't have to trim or do anything like that down there because it's already sand right now. So there's no going into the woods, there's no nothing like that. And this whole plan it has to go through a process of stormwater management has to be approved by conservation, the planning board, and then from there, conservation has to give the okay on the landscaping design there that fits with their idea of what the area should be.
Have a mosquito sort of thingy for that back area. Again, just from my knowledge.
No,
that
I
area-
haven't thought about that.
Yeah, so I mean, just getting a bug zapper or something back there. I don't know if you can get permission to do that because.
That's not conservation wouldn't really
Yeah.
have anything to play in that because they don't.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not,
saying, I'm just telling you that it can get buggy back there, and so
Yeah.
when they're.
Didn't there used to be one in the back corner, like where there's
Yeah.
that outside shower thing? Like by the second gate, isn't there like a
We
pole
had an
there?
environmental agency that used to come down and they were monitoring the mosquitoes. So it was a catcher for them to bring. So
Yeah.
for
Test
years.
so
there
they
was
could
a-
test like Tripoli
So
and
there was,
West Nile
there
and
was
stuff.
some environmental agency, came down, put a mosquito catcher there. Yeah, but I'm just telling you that because and 30 years ago it wasn't as wooded because we used to walk back there. That was not all what it is now, and now it's much,
Thicker. Yeah.
thicker, and so
I
that might
remember
just,
walking through the woods to get to the beach.
yes,
Parked
walking
next to
through the
gate,
woods,
so we
these
walked through the
lifeguards
woods.
used to clear that whole area, it was part of our job. But that I just know it can get a little buggy back there because it's so grassy.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad idea. I mean, the only thing, I mean, if we did get something like that, it would be a relatively low expense compared to everything else. So we'd be like, oh, the mosquitoes won't get bad down there. Let's go down and get like a zapper for like. I just wouldn't want to put it next to the shower because if we get the shower up and functioning, I don't know,
Well, it's like
electrify
the
plugs up
shower's
next
the
to it.
shower's over here, and what I believe is still
Yes.
bug zappers over here.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that wherever we put it, like if we're putting a playground there, then we need to make sure that those bug zappers also away from the kids and stuff like that too. So we got to kind of think of a creative way to do it, if that's a problem next year. I mean, I've been down there a couple times during like dusk and dawn. I haven't really gotten bitten by anything down there other than tempted sand wasps, but that's
another.
Yeah. So the CPC funds that we're going to request is $75,000 for the playground, and Dory is reaching out to the playgrounds, the school playground programs and stuff like that to see if we can get a quote. That's the people who are coming tomorrow. So if you want to be there, I mean it's literally the back corner, and it'll probably be maybe like 10 feet away from each edge that's there.
Okay, maybe if I could see your picture before I left,
Yeah.
that way I'd have like some kind of clue. Like
Yeah.
not like
Yeah, what time is he supposed to be coming?
She told me to be here, well, I'm going to be here at 9. She told me to meet him at 9, but I may get here a little bit before,
Okay.
just so I don't leave him waiting.
Okay. Last time she told me, she said he was going to be here around 12, and I couldn't do 12, but I could probably do around 9. And these CPC applications, we approved these at our meeting in August, I believe it was, to put in for these. So Caroline did a lot of the work on it.
Good
So
job,
thank you,
Caroline.
Caroline.
I'd like to be involved in picking the playground equipment. Since
Absolutely.
I'm a specialist
Absolutely.
in playground equipment.
Are you a
That would be-
specialist in
Are you
playground
really?
equipment?
Well, I
Karen's a
work at
teacher.
preschool and I'm working with other schools to
Yeah.
Oh, you just signed yourself up for
Yeah.
playground equipment.
Because you don't want a crappy playground.
No, you
It's
don't.
Really bad.
And people even brought up to me like, why don't you bring the McQuan playground down? I'm like,
That's
Thank
what
you.
she
That
just
was,
said.
that was my question. Why
No,
did you take that?
so that thing is dilapidated,
Yeah.
and also it's
It won't be
it's
closed.
red, white, and blue, and it doesn't really fit in down there. It has a red, white, and blue playground.
Yeah.
I mean, I let my kids play on that, but I'm like, I'm like, go get hurt somewhere.
Yeah.
That thing, I looked at it like last time we were down there at football
That
practice probably like a
sucks.
week ago, and I looked at it like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
You know, going by it, you don't see it that far back, you don't see how bad it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of hidden.
Yeah. Plus, it's like it would just throw off the whole color scheme of the campground.
Yeah.
Have
You
the
can do
red,
it
white, and
very
blue.
nature.
No, it's a pain.
Yeah.
So I was looking at this on playgrounds, and there's people who do like wood ones, like
Yeah.
the one that used to. I'm not sure if you guys went to the old wood one that was in Weymouth, but they had this one that was like a pirate ship, and the thing was like a football field long. It was awesome. I mean, people were dying on it every day, but it was
I used to
awesome.
love the Win Like Laquan. Do you remember that one?
No, I was
Have
no.
you been to the one in Abington?
Yeah.
Oh, the one in Abington.
Insane. That's
Yeah.
what I think.
Yeah, I mean, a wood one would be ideal, but I don't think that the liability insurance would be like, yeah, let's do that.
But they're still very nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can absolutely be in charge of picking the playground equipment.
You know.
And I'll test it.
We should all test it when it first gets in there. We'll like the first one. We'll have a cutting ceremony.
There
But it's
you
just
go.
going to be us there playing on the playground. So,
It'll be Sheila swinging back and forth on swings.
oh my god, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Okay, so is there any more questions or anything on the CPC stuff? And like I said, I can send a copy of this out to you guys just so you have it.
So did they approve? Because then there's like a application B.
That's
Is it
a
to
so
that
that's a good point. So I'm sorry, I don't know why I didn't hit that. So they didn't approve them because it's a lot to go through in one meeting, right? So I didn't forward it to them beforehand because I didn't want them to look at it and be like, "What the hell? What is this?" So when I went there and explained it to them, they said that they would come back to us in the next couple weeks with questions regarding is this eligible? Is that eligible? And then we can go ahead and start the process of getting the Form A approved. And then once the Form A is approved, even before the Form A is approved, we can still start on the Form B.
Okay.
We just have to make sure that all the questions that they have answered for Form A are actually there.
So do you want me to draft up Form Bs? Just
If you want to draft up Form B, I was actually going to go through the CPC website and recreate those forms for them because they're just absolutely atrocious.
I know, and then they don't. I like
Taking
just doing
on
my
more?
own thing.
Well, if you've got free time.
No, I don't. But filling out this form should have taken me 5 minutes of form, and it was like
4 hours.
yeah, it was
I
a long time.
fixing it.
And now you know how I feel about the Board of Health application.
That's so like if you look at this form, like look at this, look at all this formatting that's right here. And I don't even know what this means, but like the X is on no in one part, but it's actually supposed to be on the other side, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, this is just so confusing to me. So, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, so they're gonna forward us questions for the Form A's, and then we can start on the Form B's, kind of preliminary until they give us the okay, and we can start from there. So, and then we also have conservation meetings that we need to attend for it as well. So, any other questions about the CPC? No?
No, good work.
Awesome. Yeah, and if everybody's available the night of November 9th to go to the town meeting to vote on that money for the $50,000, that'd be greatly appreciated because
Yeah, 'cause
we're never going to get that again. So,
We couldn't get a quorum, you know.
well, yeah, we 87 people.
Promised to come help me pack.
Yeah, that
our
was
room
like
Oh,
up next day.
can I jump in the suitcase with you?
Absolutely,
Oh my
everyone
God.
can. When is this, November 9th?
November 9th. That's the special town meeting. So yeah. Okay, and the next one is set date for Winter Wonderland. But on top of this, I'm going to take it as the same topic. We need to find dates for actual things next year, and we should do it now while there's still openings in the calendar for next year for anything that we want to do. Whether it's Spooktacular, whether it's like karaoke night, I don't care what it is. you know.
Halloween Spectacular is in here for next year.
It is?
I
Okay.
saw the
Yeah.
other day. I can double check, but I think they grabbed it. right before.
We did,
Yeah,
I do
29th.
remember doing
We
that.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think
Saturday
we
was
did.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And like I'm not. I mean, obviously, we should try to not schedule things during the busiest time of wedding season, but if it's
A couple, it's a few things.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, we got the 29th, right? Is on-
29th Sunday.
Yeah.
so, but like we can do a lot of other things too that is not like a spooktacular. Like we can use the pavilion for like somebody brought up to me like music there, like having bands there and stuff. We can get as like a special liquor permit to have liquor in the pavilion, have the bartenders there. Like if somebody want to do it, I'm not a good planner, so I don't know any of this
Done
stuff.
this in the
Sunday?
past, and those
Yeah.
have been very
So
successful.
it doesn't have to be on a Sunday. It can be on a Friday or a Saturday.
Oh, I
It's
thought
just
you were talking about this for next year. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
no, no,
I'm sorry.
no,
Okay.
so-
You're just talking about stuff in general?
yeah. I'm just talking about
Okay.
stuff in general. I'm
Yeah.
just putting it under the set date for Winter Wonderland
Gotcha.
because
Gotcha.
There's a lot of openings in August, if that makes a difference to you guys.
So we can look, I mean, I know that we had brainstormed, we had a meeting. We can look at that list
Yeah,
and
we'll
see
go back and-
if we just want to throw them on the calendar just to,
Right,
At
I'd rather
least-
have it on there and then not
yeah,
be able to
right.
go forth if we can't, than to
Right.
be digging backwards, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And if it gets close to the date and somebody requests that date for a wedding or something like that, then
Yeah,
you guys can make
yeah,
a decision then.
yeah.
But I just pick like 3-4 dates that you guys want that will be for like weekend days
Mm-hmm.
or like weekend days that we can use just to get some actual stuff going.
Did you want to talk about the Winter Wonderland?
We're
Do we-
yes, we're going to talk about that now. So
Okay.
the Winter Wonderland. When do you guys want to set a date for that?
Well, it looks like, and I have the calendar up too, Maddie, but it looks like Sunday the 18th.
December 18th.
December 18th is open. It looks like there's something on the 11th. The 17th, it looks like it's open. Of December.
Yeah, and 18.
17th or 18th of December. And then there's something on the 10th and the 11th, it looks like. There's a birthday party on the 10th. And a Christmas party on the 11th. And then there is the 3rd. Oh, there's a wedding.
That's that weird December wedding.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the 3rd. And then there's a baby shower on the 4th. So it really looks, and if you want to do it in December, it looks like the 17th or 18th. I don't know, do you think a Saturday or Sunday would be?
I don't know.
What did you
I
do?
think Sundays are tough. It's just,
I would
the
say
last thing I
Saturday
want to
would be
do is
better.
bring my kids
I'm just
to a
thinking,
party when I'm getting ready
Now
for
that
school the next
and
day.
like my daughter's getting more involved in like sports, Saturday is a big
Saturday's a big
basketball.
sport day, yeah.
Basketball's going on.
But on Sunday you have a lot of football.
True.
So I mean, you kind of.
But I mean, I think we did
either way,
like early after. Didn't we do like early afternoon to like? It was like one.
Yeah, it ended at 8. I remember that.
It was like we did like
Did we do?
1 to 8 or 2 to 8 or something like that.
No, it wasn't that long.
No.
No, it was like an hour or two before.
But it was in the
sun went
evening.
Yeah, because you were outside. It was probably like 4-ish anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that would be better.
Sheila,
Yeah.
you were here in the morning. You were one of the first ones here because I was
Yeah.
still up in the lodge.
Right.
And we wanted
And
it
then
to
we
be
came
dark.
back, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the lights.
So like 4 to 8 on a Sunday. I feel like that would be.
Do you guys think the 18th would work?
I think so.
Okay.
All right.
Does anybody want to make that motion to block it off?
Yeah. Are you good with that,
Okay.
Sheila?
Yeah, that works for me.
All right.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to set the date for the Winter Wonderland for December 18th from 4 to 8 p.m. Are we gonna move that one?
So,
So moved. Do I get a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
bye.
Great. Awesome. Okay, and then we're good for that, so let's go under old business. So before we get to the budget discussion, I'm actually gonna hop over, I asked, and the Cove is old business. Every meeting we talk about the Cove. So I actually asked Margaret to come because she's been looking to get on the agenda. I'm sorry I didn't get you on the agenda for September. I was actually in Kansas, and I completely forgot. So yeah, Margaret wanted to touch base with us now for Cove planning for next year and what we can do to get a better experience for the people next year. So I'll kind of let you take it away, Margaret, if you have any ideas.
Well, I'm obviously, I wanted to be overzealous and start in September, but as long as we get going now, I think we're gonna be fine. But obviously, we have money to start up. something. All right, it's,
Well,
that's like
it's better than it was last year.
right, because I don't think once you get it going in like the second year I was the rec this round, we made money the second year. Like we were able to pay the lifeguards and all that with the money that we generated. Like we needed about, it was like 100 families signing up, paid for the lifeguards salaries and salaries of the camp, so that worked. Like so it should, right? Do that. And I also think that last year, my last ditch thing before I totally melted down was the drop-in day camp. I think is going to be a huge thing. I just found it on one of the websites that I was on, and when I talked to the state person, I was like, I had wished I thought about this so long ago. Like the drop-in day camp is the kids and the parents sign a waiver every time they come. They can't like pre-register or do anything like that, but the families want to bring them all week, they can bring them all week. And it sort of makes it like a camp. So I think that that's something that can generate money as well, and that we can, like it can be maybe less as intense than in my camp, but I think it's a doable plan, and it will generate money as well, and then the kids will have recreation, families, and it'll be close and all that kind of stuff. So that's like my second layer, but I would love to be a part of whoever is planning the cove stuff. So if we're going to try to do lessons and lifeguarding and all that kind of stuff, we have to put out, and we have to can't do it in the town paper. We have to think about Indeed and LinkedIn and trying to get things out through different social media than Facebook, because I think the kids were just not really. I got more responses from the parents, and most of those were like 15 to 17-year-olds. You need a few college kids,
okay.
Like with the maturity, a little bit of grace. So I mean, I think if I'm willing to help plan that out, and be an advisor or whatever you need me to be, and like go through, because I don't think at this point there's nobody left that has done anything with the cove, right? And just and then finding out what the new procedures are for collecting money, whatever. It's been a while.
Yep.
Has anything come up to the 21st century?
Well,
any of those questions, and the same thing is because I had a lot of kids last year, and I was just so disappointed that wanted to work it, and then when there was still no signups, it's like I just surprised. What I was told was that everybody was going away on vacations, and like a bunch of people that they took like 3-4 week vacations and just took the camper and RV or whatever. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
But
one of the things that I heard back from people about the camp in particular was the price range of it. Do you think we can run like a swim lessons for like $125 a week? Do you think that's possible?
Oh yeah, I think the price the swimming lessons is totally doable for that.
Okay. I
think the last one that was approved by whoever was 3 2-week sessions. So kids, you signed up for 2 weeks, and I believe it was 110
for 2 week sessions.
2 week sessions, if I'm not mistaken.
Super cheap.
I went back and looked at the website, and again, I would think we need to up that. The price, I looked at 15 places, and the Whitman, who clearly has funding from somebody, was by far the cheapest or whatever. And
they were like, weren't they like $90 or something?
I don't know where the heck they got that money from, but like nobody, like the rec programs in Hanover, they were like not even half the stuff that I was doing are like $350, and they're just glorified babysitting. Some of them are, so all of the Ys were between $300 and $500. All the, so a camp is a camp, and to pay your staff to be certified and qualified, and everybody that we had was willing to. Everybody had a first aid, CPR, and all that stuff. The swimming lessons should be much lower, and I do believe that. Again, it's close to my heart, but the mission shouldn't be that it's too expensive that people can't do it.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
If we can get the family plans in, if we can get the family free swim, or it's not free swim, open swim. And then, we open it up to like Halifax doesn't have much. So we had a lot of people from Halifax, and actually a lot of people from Pembroke come to us because it was clean, the water was nice and clear, and, you know, there wasn't brown water or green water, whatever, you know, like, so, and that's just a lot of PR and talking on, you know, if we can break over 100, I think, you know, it'll be a good moneymaker.
So I guess
Pay for
there's
itself.
and I just have
Yeah.
something.
Go ahead, Melissa.
So we're talking about really two things. There's the swim lesson program,
Yeah,
and then you're talking about possibly doing just a drop-in camp.
yeah, I think.
Okay.
I,
Like a little lighter than what you
Right,
We're trying
and,
to do last
I'm
time.
actually saying you guys should do it. I will help you do it. I will
Yeah.
train staff. I will do whatever. I think it's doable now that I know that that exists and that's an okay thing. And the way you do it, I was like, holy Batman! That it was just it. You know, even if you don't offer it for the whole summer, let's say you do 3 weeks of a drop in, just to see, you know, dry run, see how it goes, and if it works out, great the next year. But I think. And then that will keep the price down. The price had to be high for me to like pay my insurance, get all my certifications. I mean, all that stuff that I needed as a
staff,
private
everything.
entity
Yeah.
was so much different than you guys because you don't have to do
Yeah, because we already have the insurance.
right. So you don't
Right.
have to do all that. Like anybody else doing these camps, the
Yeah.
price has to be up there. You're just not gonna make the money. But I think that this drop-in thing can be a thing, and now that I'm hearing that you're gonna have a little playground area, you know, and even if you drop off a zone, you can still have a half day and a full day, and have just one area.
Yeah, I mean, like that playground area wouldn't, if it got approved
Yeah.
and got built, it wouldn't be
No,
here until
it's huge.
2024.
But I'm just
but-
saying, I just think it's the new way. I think you can do a drop-in center, and I do think it will be a great thing for the town. It would be comparable to maybe the Whitman pricing compared to what I could put out there. Like, I only was doing the camp because there was nothing here. I was, you know.
Well, and people are working. Everybody's working from home now.
Right.
I think the drop-in thing is
Yeah.
more. It's more flexible for
It's more
families.
flexible for families.
Yeah.
I do think, and again, had I known that, and I was like, once I talked to that lady from the state, I was like, ooh, all the bells were like, and it just was too late to pull off last year. But I do think that I think the camp can do that.
So-
And I don't mind helping build that.
So, in terms of, you know, you've really done the legwork of this for the past, you know, year and a half, almost 2 years actually, right? 2 years, yeah. So, I mean, the one thing that, you know, I would like to see is how much would it cost us to do that model that you want to do. So, like, if it's like swim lessons during the day, and then we need to really know like how much, and at that point we can say, okay, well, if we did open up the swim lessons, it'd have to be $110 a kid or something like that, from
Right.
whatever it is, and then
It was a prorated rate, so it was like the family had, you know, if you had 2 kids, it might have been 9, like the second kid was 90. And again, that was 2018 rates, I think.
Yeah.
So, but if you talk about like the Y or like I'm in the Kingsbury Club, the prices for that are like triple that for lessons right now.
this actually brings up a pretty good point about
And it's huge
Yeah,
right
if-
now.
if-
Swimming is the Kingsbury Club is packed.
It-
Yeah.
This brings up a good point for next meeting also. I should probably put on the agenda what we want to do about, you know, if we are going to have lifeguards and stuff like that at the Cove, we should probably start charging people to use the Cove, to supplement that money that we would
So
do.
so the old model was that there was a family pass that you bought. So that was $75 for a family pass if you lived in town. I believe it was something like $115 if you lived out of town.
Yeah,
That is what paid for the lifeguards.
Okay.
And then the money for the instructors came from
the lessons.
paying for the lessons. So they, you know, and same things. I can, again, I don't know about if you, trying to think, I went on the website to go find the old one, and maybe I have one somewhere on my home desktop about the pricing, but it's still, even if you kept it and everybody was $115 for 2 weeks of lessons, the 30-minute, you know, that's, again, when you price it out at
Yes.
the Y, and you price it out at the Kingsbury Club, and, you know, in the Y, it's
I went.
it's a fraction of the cost.
Goldfish School is $100 a month for
Right.
4 classes.
For 4 classes, right.
What's
So you're getting
Goldfish
8
School?
Goldfish School.
Goldfish
What's
School in
Goldfish
Rockland.
It's in
It's a swimming
Rockland.
It's a swimming
Oh,
program.
okay,
Swimming,
for like
So
little
lessons
kids.
program, they're,
Yeah.
You know, they're like, that's all they do.
Mhm.
But it's, yeah, like, I still think, like, if you just said everybody was $115,
Yeah.
because it's so reasonable. And, again, the safety, like, it's a big issue, you know, I feel like, safety-wise, I think
Yeah.
it's just good.
So, okay, Maddie, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, is the game plan to just do a camp like you were gonna do this year and do it free, like open? Or are you planning to like do a normal cove next year?
I think normal I think you can do
Gatekeeper,
normal
like
like
the
normal
whole
cove.
thing,
whole shebang,
rentals.
and I am
Yeah.
willing to, you know, but I also
Yeah.
think as a bonus, I think this drop-in thing is definitely, you know, again,
Okay.
I mean, I to be honest with you, I'd be under the opinion of getting it back to normal,
Normal.
and then the next year,
Next
if we
year.
want to try that, then try to get it. But getting it back to every,
Yeah.
I get probably a letter a week, not really, but about the Cove like being back to how it used to be.
Yeah.
I wasn't here when how it used to be, but I can,
Yeah.
you know, there's people who have been here
Yeah.
how it used to be.
and
So.
yeah, and then and I, you know, and I went by, and people, you know, there were some people that were regulars, but you know, when I did my sign-ups and people were using the Cove, I called it was the Wild West. My father is rolling in his grave somewhere, thinking, "Oh my God, the Cove."
Yeah,
You know,
last yeah,
it
well,
was, you know, I couldn't even go down there because I'm always a lifeguard. I'm always on duty. I can't ever not be on duty. I could not be down at the Cove.
yeah. I
You know,
mean, we would want like
Yeah.
we would want lifeguards down there
Yeah.
pretty much the whole day. Like, I mean, I don't know.
So
if
it used
that's
to be
the-
like from 12 and again till dusk, whenever
Okay.
that, you know, so probably 7 o'clock.
Would it be because of the morning time? You guys were doing lessons
In
anyway.
the morning we do
Yeah.
lessons, so the lessons again, depending on the signups, could be from like 9 or 8:30 to 12, and then swim team was like from 11 to 12.
Yep.
So that way, you know, everybody gets their
Maddie.
lessons and
Melissa?
questions.
Well, I think the bigger issue is that we need to hire a beach director.
Right.
That's
Yes. That is a fact, yes.
So
that's like the big elephant in the room. But we need a beach director that's gonna. And I feel like we need to definitely. I mean, I think it was good that we opened the Cove during COVID, that we were able to give a service to the community because nobody was doing anything.
Yep.
But I think it's time to get, charge the $5 a person, get
Yep.
gatekeepers, hire lifeguards, and get it back to where it was.
Go, Maddie.
All I was gonna say, I don't know if Margaret would agree, but I feel like the biggest thing too is that we gotta advertise for lifeguards way earlier in the
Yes.
year. And like March is their spring break, so college kids are planning their jobs then to know what they're gonna do. I feel like if we wait too long, that's when we lose all of the kids. Same thing happened
So-
with the event caretakers, we
Yeah.
lost all of them.
That's a good point, and so that's one of the reasons why I think a month ago we approved the new wages for everybody. Is so we bumped the wages essentially from $15 to $25 for like across the board. So we
And the
can-
beach director too.
and
right?
the beach director,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and there was some like concession worker in there as well. Yeah, it was-
So
Was it like
sometimes-
the gatekeeper?
No, so sometimes, like, again, it depends on the wind blowing and everything. It's like sometimes food has been sold or, things like that.
Yeah.
So, again, it depends on, you can have a little snack shack and just have all prepackaged things.
We had
or,
talked about doing
You know,
that.
and doing all that and just having, that person would have to be just for the snack shack. Because the gatekeepers, just can't do that.
You have the rentals too.
Yeah.
We have all those kayaks you can
Yeah.
use that have just been
That's
sitting in the
been-
boathouse
So
forever.
that was another one.
A lot
that
of
was
people
like,
asked about it
people
this
bought-
year.
Yeah, so
I
they
think-
did.
Well, we have the Roger, right? That does the kayak.
Yeah, but some people, like, I had a lot of people just, when I was locking up the cove,
Yeah.
saying, like,
So we have-
you guys rent kayaks, like, they wanna come
Yeah.
whenever they
They're not in
want
good
to.
shape.
Good shape.
Yeah.
No, we had to throw some away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you're doing a tour through the campgrounds, people
So-
will, like, if you took, showing them like the Frontier cabin,
Yeah.
they look down and they see the boathouse and they go, oh, what's that? Is that another
Yeah, yeah,
cabin
yeah.
down there? And you go, no, it's the boathouse. You
So-
know?
Yeah.
So the I'm going to go back to Melissa's point, and
Yeah.
I think the first thing that we need is a beach director.
Yeah, so, again, I'll be willing to help train that person. If at a last ditch.
Would you like to be the beach director? Do you want to apply?
We,
So, I don't know if I want to commit that much, but, I would do it if you couldn't find somebody. I definitely would do it. So,
Well, I think the first thing is,
Yeah.
I think we do have a job description
Yeah.
in there.
We
We would
do.
have to post it.
Yep.
Should should we decide to post it?
Should we decide
Now.
to post it? Yeah, but
You would post it and say,
the problem is the problem is it has to be very strategic in how we implement and have that person start so it coincides. It doesn't overlap too much with the budget that we have right
Right.
now for our
Right.
current salaries. It'd have to be like a they'd essentially have to have a game plan before they walked in the door is the hard part, because they'd have to start in May for end of May opening and then kind of go from there. So it would be a little bit of a.
and if you wanted the beach director to be in on the interviewing process, then you would have to pay him per diem or something. Like, that maybe you would give him a stipend or something, that's not maybe part of that
Yeah.
process. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I
you
get what you're
want-
saying. Okay. Any other discussion on the code?
So to kind of wrap things up, in my brain, I need some organization. So this summer coming up, we are looking to get back to beach passes and opening the cove back up to daily swimming. And then the following year, get into maybe a little bit of what Margaret was talking about with drop-ins and
That seems
swim
reasonable.
lessons and all
So,
that. Is that
I
what,
mean-
is that what we were just saying?
Yeah, but we haven't really decided whether we're going to do that with the cove. This is more of just a base discussion. But yeah, next year essentially, in my opinion, what I would like to see is us charging per, I don't care if it's per vehicle or per family or per
Yeah.
person, to get in there so we can actually get lifeguards. Because the problem with the problem that we had, the biggest problem that we had this year, other than the washout, was the people down there.
Yeah.
Like there
Yeah.
were kids down there that was causing. And if
Yeah.
you have a
Damage.
lifeguard
Yeah.
there, that's gonna be like, you dude,
Yeah.
like get out of here.
Well, you
Like
have the gatekeeper and you have that.
Yeah.
So basically, if you guys can get, and I'm gonna say probably a little bit more now because inflation, whatever, like 125 families to sign up for the family pass.
yeah,
It pays for it. It pays for the whole thing. It takes a lot of, hey, talking, like, and
Yeah.
meeting people and saying, hey, oh, I noticed that you came twice already. You know what? If you buy the pass,
Mm-hmm.
you've already, like I did that a lot.
Yeah.
Which is something that,
and we can even sell them on the town website like they do
Oh,
the
yeah.
dump stickers.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, the
Yeah.
$5 a person, we haven't had lessons since
right.
for a long time, and the $5 a person covered the cost of operating the cove. I mean, we've always broke even. We've never made money. It was always just break even to operate and pay the lifeguards. The $5 a person covered.
I mean,
That's for like anybody who just wants to drop in.
Well,
yeah.
exactly.
So I get that, and I am under the impression that we shouldn't be making money off of recreation, but the cove needs a lot of work. Like
Yeah.
we need to make some
Yes.
sort of money off of the cove just to put it back into the cove, and do like because we're gonna need docks eventually. We're gonna
Right.
need
Yeah.
Well, I'm
so-
hoping that if we do swim lessons, that could generate some revenue. You know what I mean?
And obviously that area where you used to put the lines for the swimming lessons, that area is so overgrown now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even do swimming lessons in there.
Yeah.
It's got the lilies and the
But
Yeah.
you talking about the culvert?
little horseshoe shaped
The
area.
culvert, yeah. So we haven't done lessons in that area in years. Like
You're
that
gonna
was
have to
that was
completely clean that up.
that was cleaning out, but you would do it all onto the right anyways. And the two sections there, and you could still have 3 lessons going at the same time. So if you had, same thing as like again based on my experience this year at the Kingsbury Club and at the Y, the mommy and me parent and me classes are booming.
Mm-hmm.
Booming, they're so loud I can't coach. I'm like, and I have a pretty loud voice. They're just like, it's huge, and both parents go, and it's like, you gotta get on that train, the parent shot. And again, that was something that you have to build the enthusiasm for, and you have to have people trained and, and doing all that stuff.
I think if you can potentially get us more information about how much something like that would cost to run, how much we need, then we can kind of go through and make a decision about what exactly we want to do. I mean, we can't make the decision tonight whether we're going to do that with the cove or not because we just don't have enough information. But.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put up like a couple of scenarios if whatever the cost is, and
Okay.
Carolyn and I are willing to work with Margaret and figure
That's
out
awesome.
something. Maybe we can
you can
go
share
and
my
pick your
email.
brain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can send the email
Yeah.
over to you guys, and you
Yeah.
guys can work on that because I mean, it's important. It's important for everybody to have the cove in town.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one
And
of those things.
we still have a lot of working class people who cannot afford vacations, and the
Yeah.
cove is they're a little rusted. That really is.
I mean,
you know, for
my
75
kids,
bucks.
yeah, my kids are down at the Cove
Yeah.
like every weekday this
Yeah.
year. So I mean, and they were helping me lock the gate and everything.
Yeah.
They were picking up. I used to send them there to pick up trash. Jen wasn't there. Jen met like 3 of my kids. I used to be like, go get the trash off the beach. Send them over here. Lock the gate up. When I remember to lock the gate. But
So I will print. You know, I'll go back into. I'm sure I have old data a little bit, and maybe I'll give a couple of different scenarios on like estimates of like income and that kind of stuff based upon how many family passes and how many swimmers we get, and then the swim team, if we can bring that back. I know that Pembroke still had their swim team. I don't know, and I think Whitman still had something. So you know, again, if we get 30 kids doing swim team again, that would be awesome as well. Because again, that was a different fee. I'm trying to think of what that one was, but maybe $50 to join the swim team.
Maddie,
I was
you
just
can
gonna
close
say,
us out.
I don't think that people are gonna fight you. I
No.
hope they're not gonna fight you on paying because that's the norm. Like that's
Yeah.
not like you all
Yeah.
of a sudden the new commission's coming in and charging them to be at the
No,
club.
it's always
Like, this was
No.
always the.
But you
Yeah.
have cranky pants that are going to say
Right.
anyways.
Well, of course.
Well, that was just a little
That is-
COVID break. That's
Right.
what it was.
COVID break.
There were lifeguards
Yeah.
back there,
But
begging
for
for
safety-
Yeah, I
Right.
just, you know, the people who have moved into town or must have forgotten that they get charged for the Cove in the past are going to be the ones that go through and go. But I don't, you know, we need to charge enough that we can actually put something back into the Cove and not like, you know, like $50 a person or a car load is like a family pass is not enough. I mean, it's just it might be. I'm just making that number up, but we just gotta work the numbers on
I
it.
will
So
say, I don't know if you guys did this, but did you guys end up doing, this was years ago, they did like a pass at the library, it was like the day pass that you could like, go to the
that's in our
library and get
policies
it
and
that.
procedures. Yep.
So like that was an option for people who like didn't want to pay, but like you have to like, it's like Museum of Science, you have to bring it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just other options for people if they can't afford the day or whatever.
Yeah, and so actually when we presented the policies and procedures to the Board of Selectmen, they requested that we put that in there. So that's in there already. We give, you know, X number of passes to the library and the senior center so they can, you know, use it at their will. So
Just one more thing.
Yep.
Can we put beach director and lifeguards, hiring lifeguards? Like we need to do it now.
Yeah.
we will have to do it
I mean,
after
can-
the town meeting.
Yeah.
Because the town
So-
meeting is gonna, the November town meeting is gonna approve the new rates.
So we'll do it in just.
We'll have to
yes.
do it in December, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
we can
then-
do it in December. We'll discuss that at the, we'll
Yeah, 'cause
discuss that.
we can't
at the-
do anything without staff.
Yeah, no, we definitely can't. So in the November meeting, we can go ahead and discuss, and we'll put that on and approve it for the agenda
Yeah.
for getting that, if the wages pass through.
Yeah.
If the wages go through, so, okay, awesome. Anything else? Okay, great. Thank you, Margaret. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Margaret.
I'll keep plugging.
So the next discussion that we're gonna have is the budget discussion. So, Dory had, that's the email right there. Dory had, printed out the budget for me. We have a couple different things that look concerning on here, but there's a reason for it. Since the special town meeting didn't go through on the 3rd, we didn't get the retained earnings transfer yet. So there's a $39,000 fee at the bottom for property and liability insurance that had to come out of our general budget until we get that transfer.
Oh.
So it's showing right now that we're using 86% of our total operating expenses, and I mean that would be very bad if it was in right now, but it's not. So, so I mean we're looking pretty good for this year. We have, let's see here, so we got 500. Okay, so we got for the Winter Wonderland. You guys have, I believe, was it special events is here? Isn't special events supposed to be?
Where's that? Oh, right here.
Yeah, let me check that because I don't think we used anything for special events this year, right? Did we use anything for special events in the budget?
No, we haven't done anything.
No, because we were gonna do the Halloween thing that was last year because it got canceled because of the windstorm, right?
We didn't do anything in the summertime for special events. What was the last thing that we did?
I've been here since January, and the only thing I was involved in was the winter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
Right.
Let me check. She might have had to supplement that from the insurance that was there. So I'll ask her about that because if we didn't do anything for special events, then that should be up to the 2,000. So we can go through and talk about that. But you guys have money there for special events. So for the Winter Wonderland, I don't know if you guys are planning on charging for that or if it's going to be a free event. you guys can definitely use the special events there. Is there any questions about the budget that we have here? No? Okay. Hopefully this looks a little bit better after the town meeting, so.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, is there any correspondence? Anybody get a letter? No. Okay. Go ahead and,
Did you, Frank?
I get a lot of people write me letters. Okay, team reports. Anybody have anything to report from the team?
No?
No?
We've done nothing.
Okay. Great. Okay, Maddie, departmental update? Nothing? Jeez, this is good. Oh,
She would like to know.
Jen, do you have anything that can be said in public meeting?
I do have an issue. I started to tell her about it. We have to, because of the 15-year-olds, we have to be careful, our caretakers.
Yeah.
We have to be careful when they notice, for instance, the cooler that had the alcohol in it. I witnessed a caretaker yesterday going into, that cooler got taken into Fezzi's so that it was out of sight, out of mind. That alcohol will be gotten rid of.
Okay.
Okay, it still has ice in it, it still has melted ice in it.
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do with the booze. I don't know if any of you would like some of it, because none of
No, I'm
the
good.
I drink.
No, we should probably
I'll buy
drop
my-
it. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go to Fezzi's.
But yesterday, before I was leaving, I had to stay late because I had a lot going on during the event. And when I went to go grab my bags out of Fezzi's, the caretaker, Frankie, followed me over to Fezzi's, and she noticed the open cooler, and she went, "Ooh!" And she is actually the one that unlocked Fezzi's, so
Yeah.
we gotta keep our eye on alcohol, because I don't know who's to know if whether or not she went over there. I'm
Yeah.
not saying
Well,
she did.
well, hold on. Real fast.
I will tell you very quickly, I've told them, because they do cover shifts, they can't touch anything. They know that, they're aware. And even I switched to shifts with one of them, and they specifically told me, like, hey, I did last when I couldn't touch anything that was on the deck. And, like, made a point to leave it. Like, they know they can't touch anything.
Yeah.
They've been very aware. So,
I mean,
I-
I'm trying to enforce it.
Yeah. So
I'm just-
also on top of that, when it comes to somebody potentially doing something wrong, we can't say names in a public meeting about it.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm just letting everybody know that we can't say names, especially when they're not here, right? So so let's just refrain from that. But that's a good point.
My apologies.
Maddie has clearly talked to him before, so maybe it was just something innocent, whatever it is. It's a cooler,
It
So-
just, it kind of, worried me the way she was just kind of like eagerly looking into the cooler, and she saw
But
that
nothing
alcohol.
happened.
Yeah, but
we
it's
can't-
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we
do
can't
that
make
now.
assumptions on things like
Yeah,
that.
so we'll, okay. So I have an email from Roger because he's actually down in Texas. And he just sent an email with some stuff that he was doing. So he said the wiring started in the south end in the new cabin, going from the bathhouse into the electric cabin that's over there. Front island with the flagpole, it's that additional work has been completed with the grass seed and the piece of granite being etched with Welcome to Camp Kawani. He also noted that the temporary work at the Cranberry Cove seemed to do a good job for the last two rainstorms that we had, the kind of stormwater management that we had there.
Yeah, I think he had the highway dig some stuff and.
Yeah,
some
the highway
hay
came
bales
down and dig some
yeah.
stuff and things like that. That was so on that note, that was an emergency certification from conservation to do that. We did not vote on that, but since it was an emergency, conservation,
Dory sent us this. I
she
think.
did send us this, yes, but we didn't vote on it. So technically, we're supposed to vote on stuff that gets done, but since it was an emergency, we didn't vote on it.
Right.
But it needed to be done anyway. So also, CPC, the CPC is allowing him to purchase supplies to replace the vinyl shutters and replace them with wooden shutters over the wintertime. He's going to come to us for a vote when he's going to spend the money from CPC for the wooden shutters, and then reapplying and discuss returning the CPC funds that we had for we had CPC funds for redoing the south end cabins. He wants to return those and put in a new CPC request for asphalt shingles on top of the bathhouse. So he's gonna finagle that one. That's outside of the Cove project. Yeah, and that's it. So, do you want me to shoot that? caretaker report, Maddie? You have anything for caretaker report? No? Jeez. How have the events been going? I mean, other than the last weekend's event.
Good. We're still having a lot of issues with hours.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of times we come in for shifts that have certain hours and they have different hours than we're working. And
Okay.
so we've had issues with those. I mean, it's the end of the season, so there's no point in, like, going chaotic now. So, like, I think we just need a better organizational system when we come back.
Okay.
You know, layouts and hours and head counts and things like that have been a struggle.
Do you have a feeling that the event caretakers that you have this year will come back next year? Do you think that's a good work crew for it?
More. We lost a bunch. So,
Okay.
like, we lost one of them in August, and just for no reason. I mean, as far as I know, she just left because she had another job.
Okay.
But you need more bodies because we're slim.
Okay. How many do you think?
I mean, the two younger ones we have are super restricted on what they're allowed to do. They basically can't do closing shifts, and they can only do middles and openings, which is a struggle. And when the school year starts, and the weddings will start during April, so you won't have them Fridays at all. And we have, like, I'm trying to think, because we have, like, weekly caretakers coming in because we don't have enough bodies. And we have, like, Roger, Renee, and Jen working events because we just needed people. So currently you only have technically 4 event caretakers, but 2 of them are, like, almost like half caretakers.
Right.
So do you need another 3?
For a wedding, you need 5 caretakers. And it would be nice to not have a person who can come in. Like,
And actually,
there's gonna be people who take weekends off. So
Mhm.
if you've got 4 now, you probably need 2 or 3 to be safe. And that's, I mean, to have a conversation with the 2 others to make sure they're coming back. They know that dead season's coming up, so.
yeah.
But for this, you know, when things start.
When things start kicking back in, but they're just, I mean, they're kids, so they got super restricted schedules.
Yeah.
They've got sports and
They can't touch
events
alcohol and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And
So.
they can't touch anything like that, and they're so young that they basically can't close. We don't have weddings that end early enough for them to be there. And it's no benefit to anyone if they're there and then they go home.
Yeah.
We've been making do, like, we've been closing alone, which we shouldn't be, but, like, not because it's a bad thing, just because it's really hard to close by yourself, but we just don't have the bodies to make it all work with
Okay.
taking days off and stuff. So.
Okay. See if we can get 3 more caretakers
At least
next
3
year.
more.
Well, we can
At
post
least
all of our jobs for next year at the same time, right? Just
Yeah.
kind of push it out there. So.
At least, 17 or 18 years older, just so that you actually have people who can help.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're great. They're really good kids.
Good.
They just have so many limitations that they just aren't super beneficial to be, like, have more of them.
Right.
To have more. They're gonna move up 1 year, 2 of them at least, when the next season starts, but that's still very young. They still can't do it.
How old
Yeah,
are they?
and-
Sorry.
They're 15.
They're both 15.
How old do you have to be to play out of and close?
It changes, so, like, it's in here. 15 and 16, I think, can only stay until 7, which is basically non-existent for a wedding.
During school year, though, right?
No, I think always.
Always. Those kids ain't going to bed at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out
They
drinking
can't
and
work.
storing alcohol.
Oh, sorry. During the summer, they can work until 9, but that's very rare. Weddings can only last until 9.
Yeah.
16 and 17 can work until 10, which is better.
Yeah.
Because that means they can work until weddings that end at 9, but most of our weddings end at 10 and 11. So we need people who can stay until
Yep.
10 and 11.
That makes sense.
So.
So, something that we can look, if we do decide to go forward with the Cove, or like a gate, I'm going to call him a gatekeeper, they would be pretty good for doing that, right?
They could be, that's, we've had, when the Cove was normal, we ended up taking 2 kids from the Cove because there was such an influx of kids that wanted those jobs. Because the Cove gatekeepers can be like 14. So you're gonna get a bunch of high school kids who want a summer job who wanna work down there. And we ended up getting 2 kids by accident, just because there was too many bodies down at the Cove. So they were really great. I would be willing to, you just have to ask the 2 if they would be willing to wanna go to the Cove.
Yeah.
But I think if you advertise like the gatekeeping stuff that's not lifeguard certified, I think you'll get a lot of kids who want those, because at least middle school kids are begging for, they get so excited, because like Market Basket takes like 14 to 50-year-olds,
Right.
so they get very stoked. So
Yeah.
it's worth talking to them. Only one of them's a Hanson kid and one of them's not. So they live close enough though, so they might be into it.
Okay.
But they're great kids. They're really awesome. I like them a lot.
Great. Thank you, Maddie. Okay. Is there any other thing we need to discuss? Anything that we want on our agenda for next time? No? Do we have another meeting date for next meeting?
We do. I don't think there's anything on the calendar for you guys. That's what I was gonna ask you.
November's gonna be a tough one.
What's today? This is, well, there's no sense in having anything before town meeting, right?
Yeah.
When's
no.
town meeting? This
That's the
9.
Yeah. So we can do the 14th and the 21st. I
I
can't.
don't know if you
I
guys want
won't
to
be
avoid
here
the
that
14th
week.
week, because that's parent conferences. And I know some of you guys have kids that might be at those conferences.
And I'll be in Aruba, so I mean, I just
You can
won't
zoom
be
in,
here.
right? You can zoom
I
in
could
on the
try,
call.
I don't know, the reception will be at the bar, but Tiki could.
Yeah, Tiki Hut doesn't have Wi-Fi. We could do the 21st.
She's got her Hulu's turned on.
Yeah.
We're gonna-
Yeah.
I'm in a competition, guys.
Yeah. We could
Yeah, I
do
could do that.
the
That's
21st.
fine.
That is
works.
full disclosure. That is Thanksgiving week. So
Yeah,
nobody
but-
has an issue with that. Then I'll do the
No.
21st. Melissa, you good for the 21st?
Yeah, because there's no.
I'm not ready to eat till Thursday anyway.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. So November 21st, 6 p.m. And if we need to, like if it gets to be like everybody's like all over the place, we can
Yeah.
just do another Zoom meeting. So
Yeah.
and that'll be great. Okay.
And
Awesome.
then, so are we gonna, for the Winter Wonderland, is it gonna be like a subcommittee or
So
how is that gonna work? Because that's gonna, we have to start planning that now.
Yeah, we've got to start on that right now.
Yeah.
We can't wait
I
till
mean,
the
we
20.
have, you know, we've got a lot of ideas from before, but I'd like to
We
change
can touch
things up a
base
little bit,
and meet.
you know?
And throw some ideas.
if I'm not mistaken, you guys are already in the events subcommittee or the team, right?
Right. So we can't have 3 though.
You can't have 3. You have to have 2.
So I'll back off, but just let me know what I can do.
Right. Like
Yeah.
if
So I
we
won't
assign
meet
you,
with you, but
yeah.
just tell me what
Okay.
You have to
Yeah,
have,
that's what
by
we did
law,
last-
you have
that's
to
what
have
we did
only
last
2.
year
Okay.
You
anyway,
can't have
so-
3. So,
Right.
Okay.
So I'll sit one stool over at the moment.
Yeah.
Tell me, write me
Yes.
a note.
Well, that-
Slide it over.
that Caroline would be an open meeting law violation that we don't want to
Oh, I'm
happen.
so-
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
That was a
Right,
very
right.
big joke.
Yeah, that was a joke. That was a joke. Yeah, our quorum is 3. We can only have 2 people per team. Okay. Okay. And on that note, because I respect the law, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion.
A motion by
Second,
Caroline,
second.
second by Melissa. All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Bye.